In this video, I'll look over the main benefits of using an iPad for your studies. I'm going to look over the apps that I use as a student which can be beneficial for your learning requirements or your mental health or structuring. And then I'm going to look over what app I use for my notes and other cool features that holds. I'm also going to include a link in the description of the case and the pen I use for my iPad because these are very important and can transform your experience with the iPad, making it a more seamless and more realistic experience. I use the iPad Air 4th generation and this cost me £549 back in 2021. I was unsure at the beginning between this model and the cheaper iPad mini. Upon reflection though, I'm glad about my choices. This iPad does have the liquid retina display, meaning that when you're taking notes, it can really feel like the pen is actually on paper as opposed to there being like a block of screen between you and like the writing experience. You'll notice there's no gap between your screen and the pen you use. My case is called the Pro case and this cost me around £18 from Amazon. I'll leave a link in the description. As you can see that there's two different ways that you can position this case to be beneficial for you. If you're writing notes, you'll prefer to have it down, and if you're maybe wanting a second display, you'll want to have it standing up. Having a case with your iPad is not only beneficial for protection reasons, but it's also very beneficial for making it act as if it's another monitor. As for the pen, I just used a simple iPad stylus, cost me around £26. If you have the money, you can always go along and get the Apple pen. However, I've had no problems with this pen over the last 2 years I've used it. It feels just as seamless as using the iPad, the actual Apple pen, sorry. The only downside is when you're having to charge the pen, which is very rarely, you actually have to use the plug-in, the same charger as the iPad. However, it is magnetic and it can also connect and stick to your iPad, keeping all your items and accessories together. Like many other videos and content creators, you'll see making aesthetic notes comes easily with the iPad. For around £6.99, I bought the app Notability, which is a clear and easy application for note-taking. In this app, you can subset your work into dividers and subjects. This allows you to neatly file away your notes, leaving you endless amount of storage and space for clear organisation to refer back to your notes whenever you need to. The only thing worth mentioning about filing away your notes is that Notability does require quite a lot of storage, and if you're someone who's going to be creating a lot of content, if you're studying medicine or pharmacology, I would recommend buying an external hard drive. An external hard drive will allow you to, for around £30, get about a terabyte should be sufficient. It will allow you to take as many pictures and videos as you want during your university experience. The higher usage that you go for on the iPad, the costs rapidly increase. Here I just have a simple Toshiba 1 terabyte hard drive. I bought this for around £29.99 and it is very efficient and very simple to just simply export all your photos and videos from your laptop onto the external hard drive. Now, moving away from the logistics of the iPad, I'm going to go into how I recommend taking notes, the apps to use, and how to make your notes look as aesthetic and neat and confined as possible. So using Notability holds a lot of features. You'll notice from the stationery that you're going to have various different colours, different sizes, different brush sizes. You can copy and paste images very efficiently by nipping into the corner of the iPad screen. You can then crop down your image to the size desirable, copy that, and then paste that straight into your notes. This is very good if you've got a lot of content from your lecturer and you don't want to copy word for word. Say if you want to be creating flashcards or different types of various memory techniques, you just want to get the content simply onto your notes. It's very good for this, it's very good for quick screenshots. Another cool feature is that you can have the two slides, one side of your notes and the other side of your lecture material, side to side with the iPad. And you can also drag your finger along to determine how much of the screen space you want either your notes or your lecture material to take up. So you might want a 50-50 split, or you might want a 70-30 split. Another thing with Notability, as I'm an economics student, I'll be writing a lot of graphs and drawing a lot of shapes. Notability has a lot of built-in functions for this. If you just draw a line and then hold your pen alongside, it can straighten the line, or it can create arrows. It can create various built-in shapes, and this is very good for quickly producing neat, confined graphs from your lecture material without having to be very precise, or you can be as scruffy as you want and it will straighten up the line. With regards to organising your notes, Notability gives you the option to divide it into either subjects or dividers. So say you've got different modules on your university course, you use the subject, for example econometrics, or macroeconomics, and then you can create dividers for each lecture that you go into. Here I'll just show you, I don't know, let's go for introductory econometrics, and you can go from lecture 1, lecture 2, lecture 3, etc. And then on each one of those I've got my different pages for each of the subtopics within those materials. Now this is not something that I personally use, but there is a microphone built into Notability, so you can hold down that if you're into a lecture. So while writing your notes, you'll have like the audio being put through from your lecturer, and then you can refer back to what he said throughout the lecture. If he's a fast speaker or there was just too much content to keep up with, you can go back home, and then with the microphone you can go over the notes that he spoke over and confine your notes respectively. Moving away now from Notability, I want to quickly go over the best apps that I would recommend with the iPad as a student in 2023. Firstly, Quizlet is definitely worth a mention. It is perfect for active recall. Quizlet on the iPad is very clear and concise, and it's very easy to quickly jot in your notes and your learning material to refer back to on a later date. Another app that I use is an app called Structured. Structured allows you to preset different tasks and objectives that you use during your day to quickly copy and paste into your future days, prevent you from having to rewrite everything. It's got clear checkboxes for checking off each item as you go along. Here for my example, I've got my wake up time, a bit of time for reading in the morning, then I've got my lectures, breaks, lectures, I've got my lunch, a bit of Spanish, and then I can easily include like gym and stuff, and it's a very nice way to keep your life very structured when you've got a lot of different moving parts and things to organise. Next, I'm just going to quickly briefly speak about using the iPad as a second display. Now for me this is a huge advantage of the iPad, and this is probably one of the things that I use it for the most. University students will know that when you've got different tabs open and your laptop screen can get very quickly clustered when you're trying to write an essay, having an iPad there for a second display can be so crucial in making that working environment just cleaner and neater. If you screen monitor your laptop with your iPad, you can treat your laptop mouse as the mouse for both monitors, meaning that you don't even have to touch the iPad. It is literally just another second monitor. I'm just going to quickly briefly go over some considerations that you should have with the iPad. Number one, it is a pricey piece of kit. It is quite expensive, and you need to make sure that you do have the funding available if you're going to jump in and go for it. Me personally, I do think it's definitely worth the investment if you have the money, but for £569 or £579, it is a big investment, and it's definitely something that's worth considering. Another one, that the battery life is rather weak. Now this isn't a problem for me because I'm always studying near a power outlet anyway, so it's not really a problem, but the battery life on a full set of charge, if you're using it for a second monitor or for note taking, it only really seems to last for about 5 to 6 hours, regardless of Apple's projected 8-hour screen monitoring time. Another one is it's a lot of screen time for your eyes. Rather than using a pen and paper for your notes, now you're using another screen, and if you're studying all day or if you have a lot of work to do, lots of screen time can be quite detrimental and damaging for your eyes, and it's definitely worth considering that if you are someone that's susceptible to eye problems. I'm gonna finish with like a positive. Apple do suggest that this iPad is the fastest iPad on the market with the M1 chip, meaning that it is one of the most powerful iPads to date, and it's definitely something that can be used for any type of graphic design, art, coding. It's definitely powerful enough to withstand those type of applications. My final thoughts on the iPad is you need to make sure it's either worth the money, and you need to make sure that you're going to use it in the long run. If you're thinking about getting the iPad just for another screen or another thing to maybe just play games on or something like that, and you're not using it for school, I would recommend going with the iPad mini, saving yourself £200-300, because there is diminishing returns to the iPad. The more expensive the type of iPad that you do get, the more diminishing returns you'll see. Starting with the cheapest iPad, you'll see that you can literally get around 80% of the iPad's functionality, going to about 85% for the iPad Air, and then obviously like the 400% if you go into the iPad Pro. But you need to ask yourself, is it worth all of that extra money for 20% extra usage? And are you someone that's going to actually utilize the capabilities of the iPad Pro in comparison to the iPad mini? Thanks for watching this video, and I hope that I might have actually informed your decision into buying an iPad in 2023 a little bit more, made you a little bit more informed, and maybe, encouraged you to get an iPad, or maybe deterred you because you don't think it's right for you. If you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button and the like button. I'm very grateful. I'm just a brand new channel starting out, and every single subscribe button is massive. If you have any further questions as to how I've been getting on with my iPad over the last 2 years of being a university student, feel free to comment below and I will reply to you. See you in the next video.